To all who have been involved with supporting the educational program, and especially those who made this new facility happen. This opportunity has deepened my excitement about aviation, and I know that I will be more successful in my career because of this opportunity.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Broussard, and I just wanted to start off by thanking you all for being here. We have some truly amazing individuals here, Mayor Johnson included, and a lot of other dignified individuals. And I'm a senior at the Career High School in Grand Prairie, Texas, in the aviation pathway. And I've been so privileged and blessed to call the CAF home for the past 2 years now as an intern here. We started off, I believe, in that building over there, and we had just a small corner in the back, just kind of things everywhere. Still, we had access to a lot of old planes that we could work with, a lot of hands-on material we could learn with, and just a lot of amazing individuals and aviation enthusiasts we had access to. And we saw when they started digging the dirt for this building, and we saw it built from the ground up. And man, it has come a very long way in a very short time. And so we're just so blessed to have this amazing facility with amazing aircraft, amazing people, and amazing opportunities. None of this would have been possible without each one of you who have provided funding, who have provided advice, and given us, the next generation, an opportunity. Just like your generation, my generation is going to have a series of its own challenges to overcome, hurdles that we're going to have to jump over. And we are so grateful that you guys have entrusted in us the skills and the ability to overcome those challenges. So I just want to thank you for doing that and for coming out today. Next, we will do a Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, so if you all stand at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. God, we thank you for allowing us today to gather on Veterans Day and to recognize those who have served in the military, past and present. Thank you for granting us the opportunity to celebrate the grand opening of the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center. We thank you for all who funded its completion and all who constructed it. We ask that you help this facility honor the past generations and empower future generations. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Months ago, when the staff was selecting the date to open the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center this fall, the team realized that there was no more fitting day than Veterans Day. We are so glad you are all joining us today, not only for the grand opening of the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center, but even more importantly, to recognize and honor our veterans. When I knew I would be one of today's MCs, I wanted to learn a little more about Veterans Day, and I thought I'd share with all of you what I learned. Veterans Day originated after World War I as Armistice Day on November 11th, 1919. The symbolism of this date started when the Allied nations and Germany came to an armistice, a temporary cessation of hostilities that went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. This armistice led to the Treaty of Versailles that eventually ended the Great War. The Armistice Day was set as a remembrance and to show the nation's gratitude towards those who fought. Armistice Day later became a legal holiday in 1938, and then subsequently changed to Veterans Day on June 1st, 1954, to recognize all who served.
When you arrived today, you received a red poppy flower pin. Many of you, as I look at, I see wearing now. But for those of you who don't know, The red poppy flower is used as a symbol to remember those who have died in military service. It came to prominence after the Great War, when men who were fighting noticed that the only thing that stood out in the battlefields of the muddy, bombed-out fields of war were the red poppy fields. Moved by the sight of these fields after the loss of a close friend, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae wrote a poem that helped cement the red poppy as a symbol, as the official symbol of remembrance for those who have fallen while fighting. I want to share that poem with you today. In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be it yours, hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. So I ask you to wear your pen with pride and remember those who gave their lives defending our great nation. Before we proceed with the program, the most important folks we can recognize today are our veterans. So at this time, would all World War II veterans who can please rise or wave if you prefer to remain seated. And would all other veterans please rise at this time or wave if you prefer to remain seated. On behalf of all of us here at CAF, on behalf of my peers, on behalf of our great nation, we thank you for your service and for your sacrifices that you have made on behalf of our nation.
Now, as we get started with our program, I'd like to first introduce David Oliver, Chief Operating Officer of the Commemorative Air Force.
Thank you, Erica. As you can see, I am not Hank Coates. Hank Coates is our president and CEO of the CAF. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. And unfortunately, a few days ago, Hank got an unfortunate call that a few of his family members have tested positive for COVID. In an abundance of caution, Hank has decided not to be here today. I did speak with Hank on the phone this morning, and he did want me to convey that he is just so proud. He's so proud of so many people that have done so much hard work on this project. He regrets that he cannot be here and that I would fill his shoes today. But I know what you're all thinking. You're definitely thinking that I'm the definitely better looking version of Hank Coates. That's for sure. I know that. I'm sure you all were thinking that. But I do want to just share a couple things. First off, before we get started, I wanted to share a piece of CAF history with you. If you're not familiar with our organization, we are 65 years old, and we have volunteers all across the country who have given so much from all different backgrounds, including 80 different units, 12,000 members, 165 aircraft, and even 4 international units all across our world. The CAF was based on a military model in its early day, and it was determined that all members would share the same rank. Thus began the tradition of members being recognized as colonels. And as many members of the military with us today, we wanted to make sure that we explained that and why you may hear the term colonel throughout, and to clearly distinguish that honorary title of colonel from those who served in the military. I hope that prevents any confusion as we proceed. So today, as we launch the CAF's latest endeavor here at the CAF National Air Base, the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center, I am proud to talk about two intersecting and complementary missions. First is the CAF mission is to educate, inspire, and honor. And the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center's mission is to honor the past and empower the future. Both use the past as a bridge to educate, inspire, honor, and empower young and old towards a brighter future. And while we are focused on our missions, we are also focused on being a good community partner in Southern Dallas, an aviation leader in North Texas, and a source for education and history in the United States, and of course, a best-in-class organization in the warbird industry. Today is an exciting day, and what I hope I will be for just the next steps into the future for the CAF. We hope you will continue to join us on our journey. I'd like to take a moment to recognize any of our leadership who are here, who are currently serving on our CAF Board of Directors. We call them the General Staff. Would you please stand? We also want to recognize our local board, who has responsibility and governance of this new facility. As a part of the American Air Power Heritage Museum, if you are a board member, would you please stand? If you are also a past board member of these two groups since 2014, would you please stand and be recognized? Gotta watch that guy over there. His last name's Oliver. As you can see, all of these individuals standing before you were instrumental in bringing us to this point that we are today. I want to thank all of you for your vision, your leadership, your steadfast support in ensuring that our organization is moving boldly into the future. There are many other people and groups to thank today, and I want to take a moment just to focus on the operational logistical pieces for just a minute. To get here today, it took a lot of hard work. I can echo that. And the cooperation and a whole assortment of folks and organizations, one of which certainly represented here today is collaboration with the City of Dallas. They included financial incentives, new airport infrastructure, and all sorts of critical support as we worked our way through the construction process. In 2014, then Mayor Mike Rawlings made the CAF an integral part of his Grow South initiative. We want to thank him for his vision and support. We've continued to have great support under our current mayor's leadership, and I'd like to invite him to say a few words. I am privileged to introduce an Oak Cliff native, Mayor in the great city of Dallas, Mayor Eric Johnson.
Thank you very much for that, David, and good afternoon, all of you. It's great to be here, it really is. Dallas is a city with a very rich and interesting history. I've called this city home my entire life, and I know a lot. So I'm still shocked to learn new things about the seemingly hidden places and artifacts and attractions in this great city. So let me tell you a little bit about what I mean by that. I had no idea until I was mayor that we have an original copy of the Declaration of Independence, the only one actually west of the Mississippi River, on display at our central library downtown. I also recently learned that Conrad Hilton, the business pioneer who started the Hilton hotel chain, is buried here in Dallas. And until we put up a statue recently of Stevie Ray and Jimmy Vaughn in Keys Park, you'd be completely excused for not knowing that these blues legends grew up in our city. I say all that to say that Dallas is not a city that always does a great job of honoring and recognizing its own rich history. Nostalgia hasn't really been part of our city's ethos. We look forward in Dallas relentlessly. We're resilient, which also means we don't dwell on the past. We build and rebuild and strive to be better versions of ourselves. But it's important that we not be afraid to look back. We should learn to embrace where we've been as we continue our journey to build a better future. And to be frank, history's cool. It just is. The Commemorative Air Force is a cool new asset for this city, one that represents our growth and our dynamism. It teaches us about where we've been, and it pays tribute to the people who've made our lives today possible. That's why I can't think of a better day to officially open this new headquarters and museum than today, Veterans Day. Brave pilots put themselves in harm's way to fly the planes that are showcased here. Generations of men and women have joined our armed services to fight on our behalf, to preserve our way of life, and to protect us from harm here at home. And I'm very excited, humbled, in fact, honored that Brigadier General Charles McGee, one of the famed Tuskegee Airmen, has joined us here today. He exemplifies that spirit of service and heroism that we're honoring here today. General, I want to say personally, on behalf of the entire city of Dallas, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you so much for your service to our country. We are proud of all of our veterans here in Dallas. We're home to our region's VA hospital, which is just a few miles from this very location. Nearly 41,000 veterans live in this city, and our city government actually employs over 1,100 veterans. Recently, we worked together at City Hall on the City Council. My good friend, Councilman Thomas and Councilman Atkins, were integral in us creating a Veteran Affairs Commission, the first in the history of this city, which is going to help advise our city on steps that we can take to address the unique issues that our veterans face. The Commemorative Air Force can serve as a year-round reminder of our veterans' service on all of our behalf. And this grand opening today represents a major step that helps Dallas do a better job of recognizing the past. This is also a great addition to our city. It's educational, it's fun, and it's impressive. It can draw visitors from all over the world. And for those of us who are into that kind of thing, it's family friendly. I've got 3 little kids, and we're always looking for cool and educational things to do. So this will definitely be at the top of the list of places I want to bring my own family. And I look forward to bringing them here soon. I know they're gonna love seeing all the planes, and I hope that someday my kids are able to bring their kids to this very location. So again, thank you, all of you, for being here today. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this celebration. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, David. Thank you so much.
We'd also like to ask Councilmember Tennel Atkins to come up and say a few words. I know you've been involved in this project from the early stages. We'd love to hear you say a few words.
First, let's give honor to God. It's a blessing to be here on Veteran Day. I look around and see this great airport and see the great city. And I'm going to thank Mayor Johnson for the legacy that he's starting today. Coming here, looking at you, looking at the veterans, the people who serve our country. But many, many years ago, we thought that this would never happen. It was a fight through City Hall, taxpayer money, to say, are we doing the right thing? I think back in 2014, we did do the right thing. We could see the fruit, we can see the prospect going. But as Mary Johnson said, it's about you today. It's about the veteran to make sure we were free, make sure we were safe here in America. I cannot go back, I cannot say I am a veteran, I'm not a veteran. I remember in 1974 when they stopped the draft and I did not get drafted. But a whole lot of my classmates went to war, did not come back. And I honor those people that you are America. And thank you, and we are proud to be American. And I'm proud to say here on Veterans Day, thank God for the veteran.
You know, I'm reminded by one of the discussions we had with one of our largest donors, where they asked the question, they were very serious. They said, is the city on board with your project and what you're doing? And it was really great to have a resounding yes. Not only yes, but they've put in even their own capital into the project. They put their own heart and soul in it. And one of the continued allies that we have in city government is who I'd like to introduce here in District 3, the Honorable Casey Thomas.
Good afternoon. Happy Veterans Day and welcome to District 3. I must say it's an honor and a pleasure once again to be here. I want to thank our Mayor for taking the time to be here, Councilman Atkins, who was a part of, as he said, the fight, the victorious fight to put city's money where our mouth is. That led to having CF here and now this beautiful facility. You know, I can give personal stories of how CF has been a friend to me, has been very supportive of many of the things that we've done here, and it's an honor to have them here at the airport where my district office is really about 3 minutes, right by the restaurant Delta Charlie's. And so it's great to be able to be here. I want to just say that this is a magnificent facility. I was so glad and excited to know that this facility was going to be built not just in District 3, but in Oak Cliff in Southern Dallas. It's one of the most beautiful, newest facilities we have in the city of Dallas, and honored to have it here in Southern Dallas. Had a chance to meet Mr. Tippie at the groundbreaking and with the ribbon cutting. And I was really honored to have a few minutes to have a conversation with him. I regret that he's not here, but I'm glad his wife is here. And to have, and I did my own research. I wanted to make sure I knew a little bit about the man that this beautiful facility was named after. And once I did my research and then I met him, it all lined up. You know, sometimes the story doesn't equal the man, but in this case, they lined up. And so I was glad to have a few minutes with him, and we're glad to be here. And I had an opportunity, and David can relate. I was over in my office. He knows this story. I was over in my office. I was dressed real casual, just stopped by, kind of get a little work done. And right across the way, they had one of the potential funders for this beautiful facility. And so I think it may have been David who stopped across and saw me and said, hey, you know, can you step in? And little did I know I was going to be making an impromptu pitch. And then we see that this facility has been funded. And David told me later, man, you know, I can tell, you know, we put you on the spot, but you did a great job. They were really impressed, and they agreed that they were going to fund this effort. So I told them whatever little bit I could do to make this possible, I was willing to do. And little did I know that this beautiful facility was going to turn out the way it has. I drive by sometime at night, and just driving by, just looking in and seeing the windows. And if you haven't driven by at night, oh, it is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So definitely make sure you have an opportunity to drive by. But I want to say Happy Veterans Day. And maybe we can start this as a tradition. We can do an annual Veterans Day, and this will be the official District 3 Veterans Day celebration right here at CL. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Thomas. I do remember that meeting well. And I remember when you left, that you walked out of the room, they said, hey, we like that guy. And that was actually the folks that we were meeting with were from the Ray Foundation. And of course, they later became one of our major donors and funders for this project. So thank you. That that really meant a lot to us. And that's just continues to show the support that the cities have for our project. They're helping make our pitch, and we appreciate that. I do want to give another vital team member that has been instrumental in helping us navigate this project to completion, and we've got to give him credit. I think he's out there, is Mr. Mark Diebner, our airport director here with the City of Dallas Department. I think it was probably 6 years ago, we were hammering out this agreement with the City of Dallas, and we still remember that day. I was just the kid in the back of the room, I guess, at that point. But it's great to have you, and so thank you so much. We appreciate all your support. Next, I would like the organization's executive team to stand for a second, if you're part of the CAF executive team. Collectively, this team has come together to lead this organization, and we've accomplished much. Thank you for investing yourselves in accomplishing the goal of what we are celebrating today and opening the Henry B. Tippie National Aviation Education Center. I'd love to give them a round of applause. And before you sit down, executive team, before you sit down, I'd like the rest of the national staff. These folks we work with every day in the trenches, and obviously we appreciate them and everything they've done. On behalf of Hank, he asked me to express his sincere appreciation for the effort of all of our staff, their motivation and attention to detail all of you have demonstrated. So thank you to our staff. Thank you. All right, you can be seated. Thank you. So, where are we today? We are opening, yes, the doors today for an insider's view of the new 47,000 square foot facility. And as proud of this building as we are most proud of what will happen because of this facility. To honor the past and empower the future, and the lives that will be changed through hands-on, interactive, educational programming and exhibits. Please wander around after our program to explore the Arsenal of Democracy Hall, where we tell and have focused on 5 different stories from World War II. Those stories include the Tuskegee Airmen, the Women Air Force Service pilots, the Aztec Eagles, Rosie the Riveter, and the role that Texas played in the Allied victory. And if you don't know those stories, we have some great exhibits that will expand your knowledge in these diverse and important groups. So take time also to visit our gallery, where you'll see 15 original nose art panels. Our historic collection is the largest in the world of nose art and other historical artifacts. I think you'll enjoy that. Behind me, you can explore the James C. Ray Education Wing, which includes the Robert F. Finan Flight Deck and other classroom spaces. Sneak a peek also at the Brigadier General Charles McGee and Don Hines Theater, and plan to come back and watch the CAF's 2 proprietary films about the Tuskegee Airmen and the Women Air Force Service pilots. And of course, where we are all sitting today, enjoy the Victor and Agather STEM Innovation Hangar, which is home to several aircraft, including the one and only, Niels, B-29 Fifi, sitting behind me, so proudly displayed. I'm so proud of that airplane, looks great. And as you can tell, we've come a long way and we have a bright future ahead of us. Speaking of how far we've come, I'm gonna ask Niels Agather to come up, and you think you've got some news for us. I do have to say, Niels has been certainly a mentor to me and others in this project. He's the man behind the scenes and someone that we've just enjoyed working with dearly. So Niels, give us an update.
Will do. So first, so you rattled off all the numbers, and we've had a great success with our capital campaign. And where are we? How close are we?
Okay, so where we're at, what you're looking at is a $14.1 million project. And to date, we are close, not quite there. We're at $13.9 million, leaving $150,000 left to be raised.
Yeah. So I have good news for you. I was handed this morning from a donor who wishes to be anonymous, $150,000.
Oh my God!
Wow! So you can rest easy, Roseland. You can go home now. Yeah.
Wow. That's
All right, so as I mentioned, the donor wishes to be anonymous, so we'll leave it at that. But it is a huge relief to all of us, needless to say. We've had such good momentum, and I think we had confidence that we had some challenge grants that we had to have done by the end of the year. And the end of the year is darn near upon us with a lot of holidays between here and there. And you always worry whether you're going to make it or not. So just.
Ooh. Got it. You okay? You gotta wait for the eagle too.
Good. Make sure I get my pages squared away here. So I want to talk a little bit about what it took to get us here. For those of you who were served on the general staff at the time, when I was chair, and others who were involved in it, there was a decision made to move to Dallas, and then you wonder whether you're going to be welcomed with open arms, and at any community. And so we sent out an RFP, request for proposal. 23 different communities responded, so that was very encouraging. I told everybody who was involved at the time to think about Columbus, Ohio, if you'll recall. Columbus is a great community, but not nearly as good as just about any community in the state of Texas, and especially Dallas, I must say. But what I was trying to do is get everybody to think out of the box and not focus on, because everybody who was going to be making the decision had some idea where we ought to be, and I didn't want anybody to be thinking like that. We got a number of really great proposals. The best of all, by a wide mile, was Dallas. And as been mentioned, Mayor Rawlings really embraced us. He gave a great pitch, personally came and talked to us. City Council got behind us. We were only peripherally aware of the sort of fight, I guess, that went on, as Councilman Atkins referred to. But they came through and made us this wonderful offer. And it came with some challenges. It wasn't just simply a gift come. But we had to come through with some things of our own. Part of it was the capital campaign, which was actually less dollars than we actually raised, so we exceeded that. We had to hire a certain number of people, and we've exceeded that. We had to actually build a building of a certain size, and we far exceeded that. And then start some programs, and I think it's fair to say we've exceeded those challenges as well. So we're really, what City Council did for us and Mayor Rawlings was to give us the catalyst to do what we're intended to do. And I really think this is only the beginning. As great as this is and as proud as we are, it's really only the beginning. In the arsenal of Democracy Hall behind you is our founding donor wall, where we recognize those who've contributed $25,000 or more, specifically to make this facility a reality. If your name is listed on the founding donor wall, would you please rise? We've got, I think, a few people here. There. All right, so each and every one of you, no matter the size of the gift, who has made it, or who has made a gift, or who has pledged to make a gift in the future, can know that the CAF will be a good steward of your investment. This is an example of that. Our two MCs today, Erica and Troy, represent the many youths that will be positively impacted by what happens in this facility and with the programs that go on here. And so you can know that if you make a donation, you'll be part of that. Earlier, I just announced that the capital campaign had been funded, but I would be remiss to say we're not quite done. We're never done. All right, so we have a long list of things that we need: additional education displays, exhibits, more tools for our classes, and so much more. So we're just getting started. And if you want to invest in the youth who will come through these doors in the future, and the youth who will participate in the educational programs that are deployed across the country, because the programs that are done here don't rest just here. They go out to, we have 70 units across the country. And so what we create here will go out to them as well. So it goes beyond Dallas. That's sort of the ripple effect of what we do here. So we continue to need your support. And if you're so inclined, Rosen, stand up. I want to make sure everybody sees this is who you go to. She's the one with the big hat, just hat in hand. Okay. All right, so today's a special day, and there've already been some reference to it. And to be honest, if I didn't point out a twinge of sadness that Henry's not here to celebrate it with us. As you've seen, the facility is named after Henry Tippie, and he's just about 95. He's counting down the days, I'm told. I learned this morning. He literally wakes up every morning and says, I've only got so many days to go to make 95. It's fabulous. But like many of our World War II veterans, Henry's health is declining, and so he can't join us here, but he has sent all the Tippie women. So, Patricia, 2 daughters and a daughter-in-law. And the last several years, I've had the pleasure of getting to know the family, and I'm honored to call them friends. So before Patricia says a few words, I want to tell you a little bit about Henry. So he was born in Iowa. We have a few Iowans up here, right? And he signed up for duty during World War II on June 5th of 44, so a day before D-Day. He was later deployed in the Pacific and stationed in Guam with the 20th Air Force. Shout out for the 20th, because that's where my dad served. He's a longtime CAF member and supporter. Became a life member in 1977 and a Gold Life member in 2005. He was a founding member of the American Air Power Heritage Foundation, which that was side by side with my father as well. Best of all, he's a member of the B-29, B-24 squadron. And 5.5 years ago, when we stopped down to see Henry, he very proudly pulled out all of the membership cards to all the different ways in which he's participated in the CF. So Patricia, if you would come up and share a few words with us about Henry, I'd appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Dave. My husband and I want to thank the mayor, the council, and the city of Dallas for the fantastic support they have given the CAF and this educational center. They have helped us from the very beginning. Thank you, Mayor. Well, this is a change. Usually Henry's up here talking and I'm sitting with you listening. But since he's unable to be here today, he's asked me to tell you his story. He was born and raised on a farm outside of Belle Plaine, Iowa. And Doug told me today that he used to visit dairy farms while my husband was raised on a dairy farm, and he said he never wanted to milk another cow. He grew up thinking he'd be a farmer like his dad, and then one day his mother said to him, "Henry, you've got to get off the farm. It's a hard life." But neither of them would know how this could be possible. He graduated from high school in 1944 and immediately joined the Army Air Corps when he was 17 years old. Then he was discharged 2 years later, and he was provided the GI Bill, which gave him an education at the University of Iowa. Because of this opportunity, he knew that he wanted to help other young people get an education and a foundation for their lives. So he has provided to help many students throughout the years. The GI Bill got him off the farm. He's always had a special place in his heart for the Air Force, so he felt very honored when he was able to join the CAF 45 years ago. We have followed him from Harlingen to Midland and now to Dallas. Little did we know then that this beautiful building would be in our future. We stopped by here about 5 years ago and learned of their dream of wanting to have an educational center. And on the way home, Henry decided it was something he would like to get off the ground and in reality for the CAF and the young people in the Dallas area. We are thankful for the more than 800 other donors who helped make this building possible. This facility brings not only the past, but also the present and the future. It brings them together, and it provides young people with the history of the past and helps them have goals for their future. We both want to thank all the donors, the many volunteers, and the hardworking staff of the CAF for creating this educational center that turned out way beyond our imagination. Henry has always felt very strongly about education, and this dedication today is one of the highlights of his life. I wish he could be here to help us celebrate. Thank you.
You know, I just want to personally thank you, Ms. Tippie, and your husband for being champions for students like myself and for my colleagues in the back. Education, you know, I've heard is something that can't be taken away. Once you gain it, it doesn't leave you. So it's important that you guys contribute your knowledge back into us so that we can go on with that newfound knowledge and contribute to our world. So I want to thank you, personally thank you and your husband for that, and everybody in the class. Today, I also have the unique honor to introduce Doug Rozendaal, Chief of Staff for General Staff and the CAF's Board of Directors. Colonel Rozendaal has been Chief of Staff for the last 3 years, and today's opening ceremony is one of his last formal duties. His passion for education is illustrated by his involvement with the Red Tail Squadron, one of CAF's many units. Colonel Rozendaal, would you please say a few words?
Wow, this is pretty cool, huh? And as cool as this is, and this just came to me as I've been sitting here, Troy and Erica, would you guys come up here? And the rest of the kids, would you guys stand? This is the really cool part. Thank you so much. We look forward to all you kids are going to be. And we're honored that we're going to have a small part in creating an experience that maybe will help you in your future. Thank you so much. Pat, Councilman, Mayor, Niels, we'll get to you later, Charles. Thank you, all of you, for your support and what we've got here. The mission of the CAF is to honor, educate, and inspire. Inspire all the way back to mythical times. As long as there's recorded history, man in the non-gender form, has looked to flight as an inspiration. And we use these tools, these exciting flying tools, to tell the stories of World War II. Educate, well, we've all heard about STEM, and we've got a lot of that here: science, technology, education, or STEAM, arts and math. And in my world, an airplane is the most beautiful piece of art ever conceived. P-50, a Corsair and a P-51 specifically, but that's beside the point. But in addition to STEM, STEAM, the stories that we hope to use to educate involve a couple other words: sacrifice, courage, and what Americans can accomplish when we're unified towards a common goal. We want to inspire those stories in these young people so that they can achieve their full potential. And I don't think there's been a time in our history recently anyway when the lessons of World War II are any more applicable to what's going on in the world today. Honor. You guys can get the staff has a joke with me. You can get your bingo card out now. The greatest way that we can honor the generation of World War II, and when I joined the CAF, I was flying with World War II veterans. And today we had just a handful here. And it's incumbent on us to keep their stories alive. But the greatest way that we can honor their sacrifice, their courage, and what they did when the entire country was focused on a common goal is to make sure those stories aren't forgotten. I'm here to introduce my friend Brigadier General Charles McGee. Charles was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1919 and spent his childhood in Ohio, Illinois, and yes, Iowa. World War II interrupted his education and he was sworn into the enlisted reserves on October 26th of 1942. Entered the Army Air Corps flight training in November. He received his Silver Wings as a single-engine pilot and commissioned as a second lieutenant, graduating in the class of 43F Tuskegee Army Airfield. He remained in active duty for 30 years, was a command pilot with over 6,100 total hours. He flew fighter aircraft and combat tours in 3 major military conflicts, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. He flew the P-39, the P-47, the P-51, and the F-4, and a whole bunch of other airplanes after that. General McGee's awards are numerous and include the Legion of Merit with Oak Leaf Cluster, Distinguished Flying Cross, with 2 clusters, Bronze Star, Presidential Unit Citation, the French Legion of Honor, and many others. He retired from the United States Air Force on January 31 of 1973. On February 4, 2020, he was promoted from Colonel to Brigadier General. And that's also really cool. And as great as Charles' service to our country in the Air Force is, let me tell you about the Charles that I know. I met this man about 25 years ago when we had a pile of scrap metal that we were trying to turn into a flying Mustang. And he and I and Don Hines worked tirelessly for several years and we put it together and we made it fly. And I think Charles would agree, as proud as he is and we all are of his military service, what I've seen from Charles in the last 25 years far outweighs that. Because not that many years ago, his son was working for an airline and he was a pass bum. And I could call Charles and tell him there was a class of 25 third graders that would like to hear him talk. And he would pass bum from Baltimore to wherever there was a class willing to listen and share his story. That's a real hero. And he's still doing it today. And so and also you need to know that in 3 weeks on December 7th, kind of historic day, Charles will have a 102nd birthday. So I am incredibly honored and proud and thrilled that Charles can be with us here today. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brigadier General Charles McGee. Yes, absolutely. As long as you want.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure it is that we can gather today in this facility. And to me, what I'm most proud of, and hope you are too, is that it has been built for the future of our country. It has been built for the young people who increase their knowledge in the aviation activity, share in their growth. And folks, I think you all know, maybe there's some part of the future of our country here in the room, but the bigger part is the youngsters that will be coming through these doors in their training. I pause because it seems a bit beyond words that I can provide any increase in the knowledge of those of you here. But I'll tell you what has kept me going, and I hope each of you are mentoring a youngster. And if you aren't, please, from this moment forward, find a way to do it, because there is a youngster out there that needs that mentoring rather. I'm silent because I would wonder what each of you are thinking. And either you want me to get off or you're really thinking about what you can do where you are as we look ahead for the good of these United States. You know, we don't think about that much daily individually, but it's still most important. But for me, I just say life's been a blessing. And I hope each of you realizes that there are blessings in your life too. I'm just so appreciative of being able to be here. Looking forward to being 102 years old. I'd say, why me? I don't want to try to answer that at all. But as I say, to me, again, it's just one of the many blessings that I've received to participate in the realm of aviation. What it's meant for me, but most of all, what I can pass on to the young folks of our country who are America's future. I hope all of you see the participation with young people, that is what it's all about. Yes, they increase their knowledge, but hopefully they will be participating in a way that increases the goodness that we would like to see throughout our country. And certainly, I've been blessed to participate in a way that has allowed me to share with young people. And I guess one thing that I can pass on, some of you already know what I like to pass on to young people, many of you don't, so I'll repeat it. But I have what I call 4 P's. Perceive, prepare, perform, persevere. Perceive, dream your dreams. I like to add, hopefully among you find something you like to do. I fell in love with aviation from my first flight. Actively flew 27 of my 30 years of service, and still, because of a good friend sitting here, flew an airplane on my 100th birthday. But prepare. Get a good education, develop those talents that you have. But I also like to add, we use the word STEM and what it means, but to, in your own training, kind of lost the track of the mind of where I wanted to take that.
Get a good education.
Yeah, as I say, besides getting a good education, learn to read, write, and speak well, and develop those talents. Perform. Always do your best. You know, we don't challenge that often enough, that you do your best with excellence as the goal in everything that you do. This can be applied in so many different ways, as we've heard of why this building is here and why we celebrate. Persevere. You know, the status of blacks in aviation was looked upon as an impossibility in 1925. Was passed on, that attitude and thought was passed on to our government, and our government accepted the idea that a black was physically qualified to serve, but mentally inferior to the white man, and therefore couldn't be involved in any technical field or technical area, which included to maintain or fly an aircraft. You know, we could have bowed our head and said, they don't like me, don't want me, and not served our country. Fortunately, we chose to serve our country. Fortunately, we're theirs that it didn't change segregation, but believed in the opportunity. And that's been a part of my experience to take advantage, if you will, of that opportunity and what that has meant. But thank you for having me here to say a word or two. I don't know, I'm not sure why. But as I say, for me, life's been a blessing, and to approach 102 and still be able to do what I like to do, and that is to be able to talk to young people and be able to motivate them. I'm glad to be able to stand here and tell you I'm still ready. Very proud. As I say, my final word would be that each of you will continue to be a part of what will be taking place in this facility for what it means, because yes, the young people are the future of our country. Thank you.
So as you can see, we have much to celebrate today. We have a grand opening. We have a project, 14.1 million, that includes all of the building you see, all the programming, and all the first year operating expenses, which has been 100% funded and complete, and dare I say, debt-free. And I think it goes, just, Rosalind says stick to the script. Sorry, Rosalind, she probably learned that I'm not very good at listening to those instructions, but I think it takes a moment really to say the other thing we celebrate is the time that we have with our veterans. And if there's one regret I have, it's that we don't have more time with them. Getting to know and spend time with Mr. Tippie, Brigadier General McGee, others like them. One of my favorite quotes is that we are standing on the shoulders of giants, because it is our fathers and our family that leave our legacy, make us the people that we are today. These young people, if there's one thing that I think that you guys take to heart today and never ever forget, is some of you are going to live well into your 80s, 90s, and even possibly be 102 years old. And I want you to stand up someday, 102 years old, and say, let me tell you a story about the time that I met Brigadier General Charles McGee, that you got to meet him personally. And you tell his story, and you tell it well, and you live it as an example every day. What a blessing we have to spend time with. There's a lot of things about my job that I love, but there is nothing more that I love and more rewarding and fulfilling. It's fun to see this project come together. It's fun to go out there and gain supporters and build a building. But there's nothing that's more pleasing than to spend time with these young people. And I would like to recognize, I believe we have some gifts, Rosalind, for two of our Masters of Ceremony, Erica and Troy. They've done a fabulous job. We'd love to give you guys to come up and get some gifts. What a great job they've done. Just amazing young people. They've really done a fabulous job, and this is really what we're all about. It's just great to have you both. You guys did a fabulous job. Troy's working on his private pilot's license. Erica, you did a great job. Yeah, same, and there's just great young people, so thank you for everything that you've done for us. Troy, go ahead. Go ahead and bring us to.
And lastly, here we are in our brand new facility that we have spent hours, blood, sweat, and tears, months, years working on to make this possible. And much to Rosalind's dismay, I'm not on the script either, and I know I've talked a lot today, but again, I just can't thank everyone here enough, and just listening to the stories. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just listen to the stories of those who are wise, which is everybody in here. So thank you so much. This concludes our opening ceremony today. We have facilities that are open. Please check them out. There will be facility staff workers that will be stationed at each event to answer your questions. And we also have beverages provided as well. Thank you all for coming.